Hey, villagers, good afternoon. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Mike Wheeler, welcome to the stream. It is good to have you here. Let me just do one quick adjustment here, get that down just a bit, and we will straighten it out. There, that's a little better. Mike, it is good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. And let's see who else is in the stream. See a couple of people here today. Hope you're all having a good Sunday. Doug and I will probably not be watching football today. This is a good opportunity to go shopping when the stores are pretty empty. So we're going to go grocery shopping and most likely to Costco. Samantha, how are you? By any chance, are you at the parks today or at the resort at all, Samantha? Or are you at home? Just kind of curious about that. It's February 2nd. Carlos, Mr. Disney World Freak himself. How are you doing? It is a good thing. The Disneyland of grocery shopping. Yes, it is, Dougie. Hey, Dougie, how you doing? So, Carlos, I caught your video. Everyone, Carlos went live today for the first time, but I didn't have my bell rung on his subscription button. I corrected that. I made sure that that was hit. Shepherd's Treehouse, thank you for joining. It is good to have you here. So for Carlos, I made sure that I rang the bell. That way, anytime Carlos goes live, I'm going to know that he is there and I can go check it out. So Carlos, congratulations on that first time going live. Way to go. It's not easy, but believe me, it will get easier with practice. I've been doing the daily dose since July 1st. And Mike Wheeler's been here almost since, well, probably from the beginning. He's been here every time. Lil darling, it is great to see you. How are you? Thank you for joining. Yes, it is the truth. All it does is take practice. Pearl Manhattan, thank you for being there. Welcome to the stream. It is good to have you. Like I said, it is Super Bowl Sunday. I wanted to make sure that I got this in prior to the game because once the game starts, a lot of people's attention are there. Let's face it. 1/3 of the nation will be watching. I'm not one of the 1/3. So I think Doug and I would prefer going grocery shopping. So that's what we're going to do. I mean, we're not really fans of the 49ers anyway. So, oh well. By the way, I've been busy editing video, and one thing that is going to be in that video is a new little advertisement for the bottom of the screen, and you'll see that when the video drops. I'm hopefully going to have that video go live tonight, but I'll make sure that I alert people on Twitter and Instagram that it's live. So we'll check that out anyway. It's going to be advertising PTV Live, not for tomorrow, but for the following week. We wanted to make sure that catch a quarter of the head to bed. If the Patriots were there, the whole game. Got it, Carlos. So anyway, we're going to be advertising the Taste of Valentine's Day. Richard, the Orlando guy, did a beautiful advertisement for us so we could put it on the bottom of our screens on all of our edited videos. I'm thinking, I'll do that. So I'm editing a video right now, and we'll have that posted hopefully this evening to check it out. It's how to make chicken noodle soup. And it's a different recipe. It's actually delicious. Doug and I have made it a few times, and we wanted to share the recipe with everyone. So it's good. It's a kind of a Doug creation. So we'll make sure that that's pushed out there. February 2nd, let's go ahead and go through the daily dose of Disney. Pete McDevitt is making an appearance. Oh, that is great to hear, Mike. Thank you for letting us know that. Fantastic. So February 2nd, 1923. Now, this really affects people. I've been sick, feeling much better, trying to binge watch and catch up. Oh, Lil darling, I am sorry to hear that you've been sick and glad to hear that you're feeling better. I had a nasty head cold, 2-3 weeks ago. Feeling much better now. Definitely much better. So in 1923, this one, like I said, does not really affect too many people unless they're familiar with the history of Disneyland and the Disneyland Hotel. Hi, Kay Atwood. Thank you for being here. An actress by the name of Benita Granville was born on this day in 1923 in Chicago. And she married a millionaire by the name of Jack Rather. Jack Rather was an oil tycoon and also happened to end up being a television producer and a real estate person. This real estate person was approached by Walt Disney to build the Disneyland Hotel. And Jack Rather agreed, and his wife Benita was there by his side the whole time. In fact, she was part of the company as well, the Rather Corporation. And eventually, there were 3 towers that were built at the Disneyland Hotel. One of them was named the Bonita Tower, and it was named for Benita Granville, who was then Benita Rather. And inside the hotel, there was a restaurant there. The restaurant is now called Steakhouse 55, but when I was in Southern California, it was called Granville's Steakhouse, and it was named after Benita Granville. So Benita Granville, born this day in 1923. She was named a Disney legend along with her husband in 2011, but they had already passed. But still, she was born on this date in 1923. Leanne Sherbick, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Okay, February 2nd, 1967. Now, I posted a picture of Walt Disney for the thumbnail for this video, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. Whenever I post those pictures, it's always a hint of something that's going to be mentioned during the Daily Dose. And in this case, Walt is being mentioned because it was on this day that his brother announced that his late brother's plans for the park and a futuristic city were going to happen in Florida. So Disney Productions announced that they would be building the world's first glass-domed city in Central Florida. That was supposed to be Epcot. Of course, that didn't happen. It went to the wayside. But it was on this day that they announced it, and they did this whole movie presentation narrated by Walt, and it was termed by the officials as Walt's last film. But so anyway, it did not happen. They did not build it, but it was supposed to be an air-conditioned city that was going to be about 1,000 acres. It was going to be an industrial park. So, office buildings, things like that, and then everything on the outside would be, of course, a lot of the traffic was going to be underground, especially public transportation and trucks for deliveries and stuff like that. Walt wanted to keep all those big trucks and things off the road so that there'd be room for cars. But of course, again, that didn't happen. Glass Dome City, the only Glass Dome City I remember seeing was in a fictional in fiction TV or whatever, in movies, like the Simpsons movie had a glass dome placed over the city of Springfield, that kind of thing. It's just not really feasible at this time, not with the technology that we have. Maybe in the future, but not now. 1967 also, there was a comedy film that was released by Walt Disney Productions on this day called Monkeys Go Home. And that reminds me of the fact that we are going to be we will be starting something called the Disney Plus Movie Club. And what that is going to be, you, our villagers, will be told ahead of time, about 3 or 4 weeks ahead of one of our episodes of PTV Live, that we're going to be watching a specific movie on Disney Plus. And then we'll discuss the movie briefly and then do some trivia based on that movie. So let's have some fun with the Disney Plus Movie Club on PTV Live. That'll be coming in the next few weeks. Ben and I will be writing the questions for each of those things. Doug took the approach of, I'm not good at trivia. So Ben and I will definitely be doing that. Besides, Bentanica is perfect for it. Thank you, Leanne. I'm glad you like the sound of that. I think it's going to be fun. But on this day, the reason why I mentioned that was because on this day it was Monkeys Go Home. It's a movie that starred Dean Jones. Let's see what I have here on my notes. Dean Jones played a character by the name of Hank, and he learned that he is the heir of a crumbling French olive farm. So he packs his bags and heads for Europe. On his arrival, a priest played by Maurice Chevalier convinces him to get the property up and running, but it's going to take a lot of work. Feeling inspired, Hank decides to use 4 mischievous chimps as helping hands. Maurice Chevalier, that was actually his last film, where he was acting on film. I believe his last film was actually The Aristocats, where he provided the voice he provided a voice as well as singing the theme song for the movie. So that was in 1967. 1989, shooting began on that day for a movie by Touchstone Pictures. Who doesn't remember this film? Dick Tracy. I remember seeing it. I thought it was going to be a fantastic film. I think Disney had high hopes for it. And I loved the look of it. It really did look like a comic book. But it just didn't do as well at the box office as they wanted it to do. They had big plans for it. There was supposed to be like even an attraction in the parks for it. They did a show at Disneyland in the Fantasyland Theater, but it just never went beyond that. And Leanne says it fell flat. So it just did not do what they wanted it to do. That was 1989. On this day in 1992, the first phase of the Dixie Landings Resort opened. It was area was called the Alligator Bayou. It consisted of over 1,000 guest rooms and 16 buildings. It also included Boatwright's Dining Hall. Now, and Fulton's General Store was also built. The thing is that Dixie Landings by name no longer exists. It's just part of the Port Orleans Resort. They had Port Orleans and Dixie Landings that were right next to each other, and they just combined the whole resort and made it just the one. So, it's your favorite resort? You know what? Doug and I have stayed at Port Orleans. We did that once before we went on the cruise to the Caribbean. We really liked it. The room was clean. It was comfortable. And we loved the dining hall was nice. So, you know, we had no complaints about that one. I've stayed at a few resorts. I've stayed there. I've stayed at all three of the All-Star resorts. I've stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I also stayed at one of the neighboring properties that is there right outside the, what is now Disney Springs. So, 1994. February 2nd, 1994, on this day, 16 years ago, Disney announced that they were going to restore and operate the New Amsterdam Theater on 42nd Street, all part of Times Square, that whole area of Broadway. And Doug and I and my mom actually saw a production there in that theater. Timothy Rainwaters, thank you for joining. It is good to see you. We saw Mary Poppins there in 2008. And currently, if I'm not mistaken, the show that is playing at the New Amsterdam is Aladdin. So maybe if it's still playing when Doug and I go to visit New York, I hope to see Aladdin there on Broadway. And maybe Rob Fuzz could join us. I'm just putting that out there. And then finally in 2006, this was 14 years ago, Disney announced that at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, both attractions of Pirates of the Caribbean, one at Magic Kingdom and one at Disneyland, both would be going down for a 3 to 4 month rehab to incorporate sections of the existing film franchise Pirates of the Caribbean. So they were going to put in Jack Sparrow and other essence of the films that were out there at the time. Still popular, still relevant. The films are still there, part of the Disney Pictures world, and I have no complaints about it. I think it's okay. I'd still like to see maybe Mr. Fulton Memrez. Thank you for joining. I'm just kind of hoping that maybe someday Disneyland will restore Pirates of the Caribbean to have no essence of Jack Sparrow and all that. I'd really like to see them go back to the original, keep both attractions from Florida and California separate. So maybe, I can always dream. Maybe it'll happen. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I'd like to thank my moderators here. I see Noah is there in the stream. Thank you, Noah. Oh, you just finished eating a chicken guy. Oh, fantastic. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, yeah, my moderators, thank you so much for what you do. I'd also like to thank my support channels. We have Two Real Geeks, D&G Explorers, who are on a Disney cruise right now, We also have Rob Fuzz, and we have the Orlando guy, and we also have Jim himself, Mr. More Sunshine Please, one of our support channels. So we appreciate all their support, all their help, and everything that they offer to us. They've been a big help. All of them have been a big help to us. And I'd like to thank them. And then also tonight, it's going to be, Two Real Geeks are going to be doing 2 streams tonight, one at 8 and then one at 9:30. So be paying attention. They're going to be doing, I know World of Randomness, I guess, is going to be on tonight. So they'll be doing that with Tony of Destination Chronicles? Fam, which one is that? What is Tony's channel? I cannot remember the name of Tony's channel offhand. Mike, you know the name of his channel. I know it's something Chronicles. Phantasmic. That's it. Phantasmic Chronicles. Thank you so much. Oh, how fun, Noah. Sounds like fun. I hope you enjoyed Chicken Guy. Anyway, that's going to be busy tonight on the YouTube network. Of course, the game is going to be on. Yes, the World of Randomness is on at 9:30 Eastern. So check it out. I will most likely be editing a video probably if I don't get it posted. But I got to get that edited, so I better get back to that anyway. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of The Daily Dose. I've been Arnie, and you've been watching Pepper Tree Villa. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of The Daily Dose of Disney at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. In the meantime, everyone, have a magical evening and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.